So, I have accidentally grinded out the entirety of the Null Void Battle Pass. It was by complete accident, but you'll see why later on in this video how I've managed to achieve this. I reckon I managed to do this in about 6 hours, although by the time that this video is released, my method for 6 hours is currently unavailable, but it could pop up in the future again, so don't miss that one out if that's the case. But there are various ways in which you can actually make the grind of the Null Void Battle Pass slightly easier, not through my method. There'll be other methods that I introduce to you later as well, but also if you want to use a combination of the gumdrops and the ROBUX that you can spend to buy each level, then I'll also go over those methods as well, and what I probably would have done if it wasn't for the fact that I grounded out the entire Battle Pass by accident. You're able to easily solo Night 1 hard mode with only one tower, namely the Golden Scout. You can very easily do this depending on which curses you get. In fact, I think you can do it with any curse really, apart from maybe bloated. However, obviously you noticed I have the accelerator and the DJ booth. That's just to speed things up. This is after all a speed run of getting gumdrops in Tower Defense Simulator. But with the timescale tickets, you can actually speed this up 2 times. Now obviously everything is super fast, so if you were to make a little mistake here, you would be fucked. But for the most part, it's relatively simple. Just spam Golden Scouts until, you know, you're satisfied, and then just place down the accelerators and then the DJ booth. Now, obviously, if you don't have these towers, then there are probably other ways of soloing it, but obviously this is just the easiest way of doing it, and probably one of the fastest ways, given that the Golden Scout is pretty cost-effective to place down. Yeah, I think we should go for the moon, given the fact that all of my towers will eventually have hidden detection. And do remember that after the curses are chosen, it gets reset back down to 2 times speed, or 1 time speed. So always remember to set the timescale back to 2 after you vote for the curse, just for slight more efficiency when it comes to speedrunning this. Now obviously the added benefit of doing this in hard mode is that there's an increased chance of getting the Evil Commander logbook from this, because in easy mode it only has, I believe, 30,000 health, whereas in hard mode it has 80,000 health, which is not the full 15% chance that a boss like the Molten Warlord may have, because it's not 100,000 health. 100,000 health is, by the way, the cap for which the logbook drop rate stops at. So I estimate that the logbook drop rate for the Evil Commander is about 12%, which can maybe be boosted to 14% with the Scholar logbook skills, but that's useless anyways. I don't know why you would do that. And for this, yeah, all of these are pretty bad. The tower probably. I don't have the medic, so you could either bring the DJ before the medic, but they do have debuffs which will last 25% longer. Is it 25? It's 50% longer. Ah, okay. I'm not sure if debuffs means stuns though. I'm not sure if anything. Okay, apart from the evil freezer that can stun. Let's see. Enemies gain stun, freeze, fire immunities. That's probably the best, since I don't have any towers that stun, freeze, or give fire. So that's fair enough. Also, just to note, I may have not mentioned this, but they are the same for each wave, no matter how fast you progress through the waves. Wave 40 does not give out more gumdrops than wave 1, for example. This is where I get the accelerator out, because I've nearly basically maxed out all of my Golden Scouts, apart from the ones at the back. Obviously, skip the cutscenes. They're not really relevant to speedrunning. And let's see. That will be nothing, because I still have 25%. I have over 25%. No, let's not do that. Cool. Bloated is probably not good for the boss, I can't lie. Never choose that. And that is the Null Commander, the Evil Commander, dead, basically. And let's see what our final speedrun time is. It's not fully optimized, this, but I reckon about 10 minutes. Oh, even less. 8 minutes, 57 seconds. So yeah, in 8 minutes, 57 seconds, you get around 360 gumdrops, which isn't too bad. Ooh, 8 minutes 25 that time. So yes, it is certainly possible. I think it is possible to get just about an 8-minute run. So 320 gumdrops in 8 minutes, not too bad. Oh, and let's not forget the logbooks from other enemies. Do bearing in mind that a lot of other enemies, such as mentioned here, the Corrupted Warden, they have a low amount of health, meaning that you probably will need to kill them 60 times, and that requires a lot of hard mode games. And I think hard mode is better, because I think there are more enemies that are spawn into hard mode compared to easy mode. So definitely would not recommend to be doing this on easy mode. That is, grinding out logbooks, but also gumdrops. Alas, the level 22 glitch, which I have mentioned in previous battle passes, has actually now been fixed in this battle pass, interestingly enough. So previously, with level 22, it had the same requirements as level 21 because of the way that the event is coded. It for some reason meant that level 22 had a 0 requirement for gumdrops, but it meant that the requirement later on was actually a lot higher for level 23. Well, it wasn't actually say increased actually, relatively speaking, but when you compare it to the fact that level 22 didn't have a requirement, then effectively meant you skip from 21 to 23 in terms of requirements, then yeah, the level requirement for 21, the gap between 21 and 23 was actually quite high, but that's because 22 was missing. Yes, as you can see now, level 22 now has the correct amount of gumdrops required for it. So yeah, they have fixed it, which is very cool. So there's no more level 22 glitch anymore. No advantage, I think, of buying the entire game pass for the battle pass, sorry, from Skipple or skipping each individual level unless they were to do a sale. Oh yes, I have the corrupted missile APC logbook, which means that the last logbook I am missing is the corrupted commander, or the null commander as it's called in the index. Okay, so I've been going at this for a long period of time, I think 3 hours, so much so that I've gained an achievement, which I think is triumph. Yeah, 100 triumphs in any map or game mode. Fair enough, I don't know why these are slightly out. The Gambit is only at 99 and Commander-in-Chief is only at 99. Fair enough, I haven't been playing a lot since the achievements were added, but I still have not got it, and I am like well beyond where I thought it would be. I'm at like level 31. I am over 75% complete of the battle pass, and I've only really been playing for about 4 hours at most, so yeah, you can really easily see that this method is doing wonders. Just grinding out for the logbook passively, I guess, gets you level 30, I guess, and if you're lucky, lucky being in quotation marks, then you probably get halfway through. But for me, it looks like I'm actually going to get to like level 33, maybe even level 34. You know what? I just realized skills are actually disabled in the event. So actually, the scholar skill doesn't actually affect the drop rates of the null commander in this game mode, meaning that everyone, no matter what scholar they have, it's the same chance. So again, another reason why Scholar is the worst skill in Tower Defense Simulator. The one time that you do need Scholar, maybe, it's not even really, but the one time where Scholar would be useful, it doesn't work. So the total amount that is required to complete this battle pass is 21,655 gumdrops. I've never referred to a sweet as a gumdrop. That's probably an American thing. It's trick-or-treating or something. Yes, but if you do the maths, you'll probably notice that I'm actually very close to actually getting to 21,655 in the corner. If I've zoomed it in for some reason, it's 21,434. There are 7 waves to go at 27 because I have the boosted rate, meaning that yes, I'm about to finish it in this game. And the whole objective of this video actually was not necessarily to even get the entire battle pass all in one go, all in one setting. No, it was to get the logbook from the commander, the null commander logbook. And yet, I still have not got it. It's taken me over, I think, 6 hours to get this, which isn't too bad, actually, for a battle pass. 6 hours for something that I could have spent Robux on, but I guess I saved myself the Robux required for this battle pass, which I'll say later. Yeah, so I'm 80 away from finishing. I was actually thinking about it. I might be slightly short, which will be really, really ironic. Am I going to be short or am I going to be okay? Okay, so with 2 waves to go, I'm on 600 exactly. Each wave gives out 27. So I think I'll just about make it with exactly the amounts required, give or take 2 gumdrops. So long I don't miss any, because I do think they despawn after a minute. So in case I've missed one, I have a 2 gumdrop buffer, just in case. Okay, so I'm 30 away, meaning that I think I'll end up about 3 short, which is 5 short, I think. No, 3 short, because I think it's either 27 or 26 per wave, meaning that I'm going to be short. Yeah, that's tragic. Why did I place down a scout there? Yeah, look at that. 21,651. Yeah, would you look at that? I am 4 away from completing the entirety of the Null and Void Battle Pass. And I didn't even spend any Robux for this. I literally, well, I'll spend Robux obviously to get the premium side of things, but that's going to be separately. I mean, I might as well use it for, might as well just grind out one more game for the command. What the fuck just happened? You know what? I might just abandon my attempt here and just like get one here, just get one gumdrop in and call it quits. I'm not even going to bother time scaling because I'm just time scaling for like 20 seconds. That's not great. That's not a good use of a timescale ticket. Save your timescale tickets. And this is it. The completion of the Battle Pass. And if you get more than the required, yeah, you don't get any more. So yes, I have maxed out my Battle Pass without spending a single Robux. And so this is the first time I get to prove this, right? If I were to buy the premium pass, even though I've completed the entire thing, right, I'll get all of the rewards and I don't need to do the entire Battle Pass again. So I wonder if there's like any animation. No, okay, so there's no animation. But yes, I now have every single item in the Battle Pass. And I'm going to make a separate video on that. So I am recording this part of the video as the developers are winding down the bonus gumdrops that they offer. It's 50% more gumdrops, so 1.5 times more. And that's why I've been able to grind out the entire Battle Pass in about 6 hours. Ordinarily, it would be in about 9 to 10 hours when I would have needed to grind out the entire Battle Pass. But with this boost, it is decreased down to 6. Now, that is the one tip I actually do recommend, is take advantage of any Battle Pass boosts that the developers offer. Now, by the time that this video is being released, the Battle Pass boost would have ended. I'm not sure how long time, so maybe an hour after the video release, or the exact time that the hour that the video is being released when the Battle Pass boost ends. But the developers may introduce this Battle Pass boost towards the end of the event or towards the releases of the event to get more players playing Tower Defense Simulator. And if the Night 1 trick works in solo mode, because it's very easy to solo, then you can easily get the Battle Pass, the entire Battle Pass, in under 6 hours. And you just need to get someone to buy you the premium Battle Pass for 399 Robux, which, if I recall correctly, is 100 Robux less than the going price for it previously. Now, this is why I get about 450 gumdrops per game in Outpost 16, which is 27 per wave, but ordinarily it should be 18, hence why I was able to do it in about 6 hours. The 6 hours includes breaks, by the way, as well. It's not complete straight one mission. I'm going to get Outpost 16 hard grinding just for the Battle Pass. I took some breaks in between, so you could easily get it within about 5 hours or so, or maybe even 4 hours. But for me, certainly it took 6 hours. But as you'll notice from this table, there are some boosts in other game modes that are actually better. So in Outpost 16 easy mode, you get a total of 160 gumdrops for the entire game, which is 8 per wave. And as you can very clearly see, Outpost 16, not really worth it. It's in comparison to about easy mode, which it gives out 5 gumdrops per wave and 125 per game mode, whereas for casual, per game, it gives out 210 and it gives out 7 gumdrops per wave. And if we were to use the guiding times for what the developers say, so easy mode is about 11 minutes, whereas casual mode is about 16 minutes. I've easily seen easy mode games in Night 1 go for about 15 minutes, so you're getting better experience probably in casual mode by grinding it out. You won't be getting any of the logbook random drop rates for like the Commander, for example, but given the fact that the Null Commander only has 20,000 health in easy mode, I don't think you're getting the logbook quite quickly that way anyways. You probably will need the pity logbook drops, which is 60. But as far as I'm aware, you are able to timescale easy mode in Night 1, as you are for all of these game modes shown off here in survival mode. This can significantly reduce the amount of time needed to actually grind out the game, and given the fact that timescale tickets do appear in the rewards, the playtime rewards, for like even like 20% in the low grade or low grade chest, and the mid grade chests has 2 spin time tickets at 20%, you probably are accumulating timescale tickets quite quickly. Intermediate is 300 per game, 10 per wave. Molten, interesting enough, is 350 in total, but only 10 per wave. And I assume intermediate mode is going to be a lot quicker. So intermediate mode is said to be 18 minutes, whereas molten mode is 20 minutes. Now, there are more waves in molten mode, but given the fact there are more waves, you are more likely that the game will last longer, as you saw from the evidence, 20 minutes compared to 18 minutes. So I think the amount of gumdrops that you get per second is probably going to be higher in intermediate mode. But these game modes here, you probably shouldn't be playing if you want the best return rates for your gumdrops. Obviously, hard mode is the best one in comparison to these ones. So if you don't have access to fallen mode, you could grind out Outpost 16 if you have the skills required. Obviously, you may not have the required or requisite knowledge to actually solo a game, so that might be up in the air. But then, interestingly enough, when you go to Fallen mode, yes, you get 13 gumdrops per wave, which is less than Outpost 16 hard mode, but because Fallen mode has 40 waves compared to Outpost 16's 20 waves, you get 520 gumdrops in non-boosted compared to Outpost 16's non-boosted 360. And given the fact that you're more likely to probably speedrun the early waves of Fallen, the first 20 certainly, you're probably more likely to get a higher gumdrop per second rate in Fallen mode compared to hard mode night 1. So that's what I think. If you're grinding out gumdrops purely speculatively, only that and nothing else, I think Fallen mode could probably be better. You also get more coins in Fallen mode. You get 1,000 coins on Triumph, whereas in the night 1 I get boosted like 850, so you don't even get that much coins in comparison to Fallen mode. And Fallen mode games are said to be about the same amount of length as night 1 in solo. I'm not sure if it's 18 minutes if you solo it. Certainly I don't think it's the case. I probably get 25 minutes. But I think Fallen mode is a better grinding rate compared to Night 1, strictly speaking. And I mean, obviously, if you're going for the logbook, as I was, the Commander logbook, which I still don't have, then yeah, Fallen mode is not an option. But if you have the logbooks already, and you just purely want to get gumdrops for the Battle Pass, I think Fallen mode is going to be your best bet. Next, you have Challenge Trials, which do give out gumdrops, surprisingly enough, 680, which leads to about 15 per wave. The only problem is, sorry, 17 per wave. The only problem is you cannot timescale challenge trials. I did try this out. Yes, for some reason you can't timescale it. So on solo mode, your games will last about 40 minutes. So while boosted, this can give up to about 1,000 gumdrops. It's not really worth it because you're waiting in the game, what, for 1,000 gumdrops? Yes, but in 40 minutes. Do you know how many night 1s I can do in that time? I could probably do, with timescale tickets, around 6, 7 or 8, and if you times that up, you can clearly see that I'll get like 2,000 gumdrops in night 1. So clearly and evidently the modifier maps, they're not that useful when it comes to grinding out gumdrops because of that lacking in timescale. Pizza Party gives out 15 per wave for 600. Badlands 2 gives 17 out per wave, more than Pizza Party, but it only gives out 450 because of the lack of waves in Badlands 2. But interestingly enough, Polluted Wastelands 2 has 35 waves and gives out 24 gumdrops per wave. It's interestingly enough, meaning that Polluted Wastelands 2 has the highest amount of gumdrops per wave, but not the highest amount of gumdrops overall. That is still Challenge Trials, but Challenge Trials has 40 waves, and as I've mentioned previously, you can't timescale it. Because you can't timescale outside of solo mode, I'm going to assume that even if you play with other people, like a quad in Fallen mode, that timescaling in Fallen mode is going to be slightly quicker than quadding in Fallen mode and speed running it through that way. If you don't have any timescale tickets, Polluted Wastelands 2 seems to be better because actually the timescale option is not here, so it doesn't look like you can actually timescale Polluted Wastelands 2 either. Okay, so any of the special maps, they're going to be relatively useless as well. But if you don't have any timescale tickets and you're above level 50, I guess Polluted Wastelands 2 can be an option, given, I guess you could can you speedrun it? I don't know. You certainly get a large amount per wave, 24 non-boosted, and certainly that is the best. And the early waves, you could probably grind it out and then restart the game, which actually restarting the game midway by losing midway instead of waiting to tackle the boss is actually the best way of grinding out gumdrops rather than going to the end. But I'm going to assume that most people would want to go to the end for like the extra coins. And on a last note, hardcore mode is meant to give out gumdrops. It's meant to give out 800 per game mode, which would actually be higher than the challenge trials because it has 50 waves, which would mean that there will be 16 gumdrops per wave. And if you were to speedrun hardcore mode early on, up until about wave 10, I think, you can very easily get a high gumdrop per second drop rate because you could just restart the game and just restart the game over and over again, keep grinding out the early gumdrops, because do bear in mind it's gumdrops per wave, and the longer the wave is, the lower your gumdrops per second is going to be. So because the hard mode game mode has very quick succession in waves early on, it does mean hardcore mode, if it were eligible, would be very fast. However, it's broken, so you can't get gumdrops in hardcore mode. You may want to campaign to the developers to add gumdrops to hardcore mode, given that it could be a very solid way of grinding out gumdrops, especially early on if you're grinding out gems at the same time. However, the developers, this glitch has been in the game since the gumdrop system, or the currency system for events, has been added in the Hexcape event, and I believe in the Hexcape event it actually worked, but after that, certainly it did not work. Basically, I'm saying, don't hold your breath for the developers to fix the hardcore mode issue when it comes to gumdrops. And you can't get gumdrops in PvP mode either, which solidifies the fact that PvP mode is utterly useless. Like yesterday, even though there were 20,000 players playing Tower Defense Simulator, only 200 players were playing PvP mode, which shows how useless the game mode is. And in sandbox mode, yeah, you definitely can't get it. Like, you spawn in any amount of enemies and get gumdrops. Yeah, that's not going to be possible. So hopefully you'll realize that the method that I use to grind out gumdrops is perhaps not the best. But you could probably still use it if you were grinding out logbooks, as I have done, and I still have not got the Null Commander logbook, which is a shame.